Hello Gemini. In this video, 3 cards. Pick a card, 1, 2 or 3, whichever one you're drawn to for the sign of Gemini. I'm doing this early March 2020. I'm Andy, thanks for joining me, and these cards are from the Starman Tarot by David De Angelis and Esther De Angelis, and it's based on artwork that David did for David Bowie, hence the Starman name. Very colourful, very powerful cards these, so which one are you drawn to, Gemini? Is it number 1? Well, let's turn over number 1 and find out what that is all about. Wow, Ace of Cups. Very positive, regenerative energy here. Things coming back to life again. This could be a project that hasn't seemed to be working in the recent past, or maybe something you put on the shelf years ago because it didn't seem to be happening. But something is coming back to life. Something is coming back in very strongly here. Look at all the magic that's going on in the stars. This figure here reminds me rather of the Caduceus. So there's great healing here in terms of bringing things back to life, and it's also a great fire. Now, Ace of Cups, it's Cups energy, water sign energy basically, Gemini. So it's Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces. Are those people around you? Do those signs figure in your birth chart? Could be any of those things really, and maybe it doesn't mean too much to you as you look at it now, but if it doesn't, then if this was the card you're drawn to, believe me, in time to come, maybe just hours, minutes, maybe a week or two, something will happen and you'll see what this card was all about. What you've really got to do here is just kind of let things happening. There's always stuff going on, and it's so easy to block it out because we live in this everyday world. But see this down here, this lotus flower, this really represents the crown chakra, and when we have that open, we're open to all the energies of the spirit world, and when we have it closed, we are less open to it. They can still get through, believe me, they can. It's magical, but somehow they can get through. But it's much better if we have that open. So there's an invitation to drop down into that inner space of meditation there, and actually maybe not think about anything deliberately, but ask your guides, ask your angels, and you'll start to see the truth coming through. This is all about newness coming in, about regeneration. Even the most barren things going on in your life can suddenly turn around and bear fruit. Is this something you put on the shelf and decided to forget about years ago? Is it something just recent that hasn't seemed to be working out? Well, the energy is coming in now. It's very, very fiery, and we can see the roots coming down from the cup there, reaching down into the earth of the imagination and the earth that we actually live on, the real world. And all these magical colours, as crazy as they seem, are real, true, spiritual colours. You can get paint like this, obviously, and ink, and it's all made from things that come out of Mother Earth. So the goddess energy is very strong, very true, and actually very practical. Well, the thing to do is just to allow this energy to flow over you. There's always loads of energy about spiritual energy. It can come in. Nothing can really stop it, particularly if we've got the crown chakra open with the lotus flower down here. That can really allow great abundance, particularly abundance of growth with the Ace of Cups, because it's watery, it's cleansing, and that cleansing happens in a flow, and because it's all about the flow, then there is a flow to go with, and it's worth keeping going with that flow. So whatever hasn't been working out is coming back to life, it's coming back into life, and it's looking like working in a very special way indeed. Okay, so that's the Ace of Cups. That is card number 1. Basically, if you kind of offer everything that's good about you towards the altar of love, the altar of light, and everything to do with what is most positive and what you really want to attract, you let that light, you offer your light to that, and just wait and see, let things happen. A deep, loving appreciation is likely to come over you, and then you're going to understand where you're headed, what it's all pointing towards. Okay, so that's card number 1. So were you drawn to the Ace of Cups, or were you drawn to number 2 or 3? Well, let's turn over the Ace of Cups and let us turn over card number 2 and see what that is all about. And here we are, number 21 of the major arcana. It's the World, and it says you've got a great deal going on in your life, and actually a great deal going for you. Now we're looking here at the Earth Shamanka warrioress here, standing resolute, it says in the book, and basically she's fully present in the moment. She's rising out of the ground, out of the natural earth, and when this card comes up, you've either already got everything it takes to really take the world by storm, or that's coming in very powerfully and very fast. It's different strokes for different folks always with this reading. But look how grounded this card is. Same usual bright, amazing colours that we always get with the Starman deck. But there's something very centred about this card, and something very centred and grounded about this absolutely amazing character here. And there's the typewriter there saying, you know, get your keyboard going and take the world by storm, basically, because you have actually got it in you. The world has so much success floating around. All you've really got to do is tap into it. It's an abundance. It's one of the great features of abundance, the fact that success is out there and things can be made to happen. So Gemini, if you pick this card, you really can make things happen. It says that you're really getting a mastery of life here, and whatever you do in your work, in anything like that, it's best if it's angled towards the service of humanity one way or another. That's how these spiritual things always work. So if this is a relationship card, or you're thinking about relationship goals, as you look at this, think of what you can give to the other person as well as what they can give to you. It's always a two-way thing. It's always a two-way flow. But basically, if you haven't taken the world by storm yet, you really can. Okay, the main thing is to have a clear kind of a channel for this. Or you could even say, like, as we talk about, you can't pour from an empty vessel. If you have a clear vessel, then the love and the light and all that abundance and success can pour through it. So you need a clear thinking way and a clear third eye. Look, the third eye is way down here. It's actually the personal power of the Earth Shamanka warrioress. The personal power there is actually that third eye image of what can be seen. And that's as much about looking within yourself as it is about looking outside yourself. So we're looking at an auspicious time, basically. Things are looking good. You have actually achieved a lot of success already in what you're trying to do. And if it doesn't feel like that, think again, Gemini, because that success is there somewhere. You know, and it's there. Maybe it's only there sometimes, but it's definitely there. And you can bring it in more and more, and you can kind of craft that success by just going with the flow and being aware that abundance is a real thing that genuinely can come to you and actually can come to anybody. But Gemini, if you chose this card, this is what's going on around you at the moment. Keep it in harmony with the earth as much as you can. Be aware of the goddess energy. And this also being the world, it has to do with your soul tribe. So, you know, family, friends, that soul family, the wonderful soul family of friendships and loved ones around you can be such a great support. Gather that in and be ready to make the most of it, Gemini, because that is what the world card is all about. And that is what the world card is saying to you in this reading. Okay, were you drawn to that? Or were you drawn to card number 3? That, my friends, is the question. So let's turn over the world. We'll have a look at them all again at the end. And let's turn over card number 3. And this one is the King of Swords. A very powerful image again. But this has a lot of kind of the need to be sensible in this. It's a very grounding kind of a card. This is about the belief in a fair world for everyone. And in that sense, it's actually very similar to the world card we got there, because the world is always something we're having to deal with, and it's something that gave us life and something we can trust. The King of Swords says that really you're now able to assess what's going on around you. It has a lot to do with resources and making the most of them. You can kind of get things aligned with things that you actually believe, things that you consider ethical, you might say. And basically this is all about everyone getting a fair chance. So, has a relationship gone wrong around you? Now that may possibly be because you didn't give the person a fair chance, but it could equally be that you gave that person everything you could and they didn't give you a fair chance. But the law of attraction is at work here, Gemini, and you are the twin sign, so there are always going to be kind of two levels of things going on, which are always going to need drawing together, because whatever goes on in the world actually affects everyone. The teaching is that God came to the world as a glass sphere, hit the world and shattered, and we are the fragments, and we're always trying to come back together. So nothing happens to you in isolation, Gemini, and nothing happens to your loved ones, to your soul family, unless it's actually meant to, and unless it's all about, or as it always is actually, unless it's about bringing things back together. You need to put emotional concerns kind of to one side. Things that concern the emotions can very easily become overblown. That's a real difficult thing to get on with. This is air sign energy, so it is very airy. It is actually close to you, being an air sign, Gemini. It's also about Libra. It's also about Aquarius. Those people around you, and probably those influences in your birth chart somewhere, are playing into the situation you're in. So maybe think about that. In fact, do think about that if you really want to make some progress with this. It's good to analyse everything that's going on. Maybe not to be too over-analytical, and certainly not to be critical of yourself or anybody else. Things are the way they are for a reason, and whatever's going on at the moment is exactly what the Creator Spirit wants to be going on at this moment. It's all a part of kind of fashioning the soul and fashioning your relationships and the life around you so that it supports the soul journey you're on and everything that you've got going for you. And you've got a lot more going for you than you probably think you have when the King of Swords comes up, because this is when you've kind of got to take stock of things. So gather all the facts together, basically. You'll work out a logical solution that benefits everyone if you only take that attitude. Pain, sorrow, anything like that can be resisted and should be resisted. But if you just get that logical solution working and really kind of keep it grounded and keep it real and in the genuine kind of true world that we live on, draw on the goddess energy again, because it is such a grounding spirit that we have behind the King of Swords here. And then pain won't be able to get in anything like so easily as it might be able to at the present time. That will actually let you grow, that will actually let you prosper, and it'll all happen through your own thoughts, your own heart and mind. Very uplifting. So basically, pursue your ideals. Go for what you want to go for in life and keep on moving forward. That is what the King of Swords is all about. Okay, let's turn over the other two so you can have a look and have a recap, because the most important thing in any of the readings I do is what you make of them, Gemini, and everybody else watching. So were you the Ace of Cups, were you the World, or were you the King of Swords? Which was it? Have a think, have a meditate, go down into that space inside yourself and become aware of it all, because it all matters, one way or another, and there are so many different ways in this world, it really does all matter. Well, thank you very much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you think I've earned it. Also, do subscribe and tap the bell, by the way, because there are more readings coming out all the time. I'm going to try and do one for every star sign every week. That's the plan. Doesn't always work out because of my internet connection, but my cosmic connections are always good. That's my affirmation anyway. Keep it real, keep it twig, brother. Leave me a comment, guys. It's always good to share the journey and to zero into who I'm doing these readings for. And have a fantastic March ahead of you, or if you're watching this in the future, have a fantastic whenever it is. In any case, for everyone, Gemini, have a fantastic rest of your life, and I'll be back again soon with more readings. Peace.